Hello and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video we are carrying on looking at the Darksteel theme decks, and we're looking at Swarm and Slam now, which is a green and white deck. So Decklist is here. We've got 18 creatures, got 9 instants, 5 artifacts, 3 sorceries, 1 enchantment, and 24 land. Mana curve is off to the side there. So, what's the theme of the deck? The theme is, it says from the deck title, Swarm and Slam. It's kind of trying to go wide. It has quite a lot of cards in here that make tokens. Not these particularly. We'll get to them. But yeah, let's start talking about these bunch of green cards. So, in my review of Wicked Big, which was in Mirrodin, I already went on about like how kind of unhappy I am how green is treated in Mirrodin. But I won't repeat that here. But these are just a bunch of anti-artifact green cards. So we have so this is a new card, Infested Roothold. So 5 mana for a 0/3 defender, protection from artifacts, and whenever an opponent casts an artifact spell, you get a 1/1 green insect. I feel like this is massively overcosted. I feel like this could be maybe like 3 mana, maybe even like only like 2 green mana. I think that'd be fine. I know it like makes insect tokens, but like I feel like by the time you cast this, your opponent's already like established themselves, like they've cast enough artifacts, and like by that point a 1/1 insect it just isn't going to matter. For this to be a good card, I think this needs to come down at least sort of like two turns earlier than it would at the moment. So or have like a lot higher toughness, maybe have something like reach. I don't know. Very disappointing card to start us off. And then we have Tel'Jalad Archers. It's basically giant spider with protection from artifacts, which okay, fine. 2 Tel'Jalad Outriders, 4 mana for a 3/1 from protection from artifacts. Again, I just feel super overcosted. I mean, like, protection from artifacts is a good ability in Mirrodin because there's a lot of artifact creatures, so you can obviously block them or get past them. But it also means you can't put equipment on these guys, and equipment is like one of the big, lovely new gimmicks of Mirrodin, and you want to be using equipment on your creatures and making them better, and you can't put it on these guys. And I really don't like green in Mirrodin. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It gets better in Fifth Dawn, but at the moment, like in this Mirrodin Darksteel period, I really don't like it. But then 2 Viridian Shaman. This is very good, I think. 3 mana, 2/2, and destroys an artifact. I think that's very efficiently costed for what it does. So that's a good card. We like that. 2 Tangle Spider. This is again just kind of expensive and bad. So it's 6 mana for 3/4 with reach and flash. It's not really setting the world on fire, is it? It's just kind of underwhelming because like imagine holding on to 6 mana just to flash this in, and it's like only a 3/4 with reach. It's like it's not exactly play of the game, is it? Anyway. 2 Terran Ghosts. So 2 mana for 1/1 flyer, and you can sacrifice it to regenerate an artifact, which is fine, but you don't have a huge number of artifacts in this deck, really. I suppose the nice thing is that this actually serves as a teaching tool to. I think you can use this to regenerate non-creature artifacts. I'm pretty sure that is something you can do. Like regenerating permanents is a thing. It's not just creatures that can regenerate. Anyway, I'm going off topic. It's kind of just nah, isn't it? Really. 4 gold mares. This is fine. Just 2 mana, 1/1 gives you white mana. Yep, fine. 3 Tangle Golems. This is okay, I think. So 7 mana for a 5/4. It has affinity for forests. So for every forest you control, it costs 1 less to play. I actually have quite fond memories of Tangle Golem. I built a deck years and years ago using this and Rush of Knowledge from Onslaught block, which is like, oh, you draw cards equal to the highest converter mana cost amongst things you control. So I'd play Tangle Golem like really early on because it was Affinity Forest, and then do Rush of Knowledge to draw 7, and it just worked really well. I liked it. Tangle Golem's alright. It's just a big fatty. I kind of wish it had Trample, but you know. And that's it. That's the creatures. So let's start looking at the non-creature spells. So we have a single arrest. Yep, it's just extra pacifism, isn't it? Purge, this is quite interesting. I like this. This is kind of like a color shifted terror, in that it destroys artifact creatures and black creatures. It's like the white terror. I think it's like a pretty fun Pretty fun design, and yeah, it actually matters because, as I said, there's a lot of artifact creatures running around, so actually you probably would have had to target most of the time. It's okay. A single test of faith, so 2 mana. Prevent the next 3 damage that will be dealt to target creature this turn, and put a +1/+1 counter on them for every 1 damage prevented this way. I think this, I mean, that's like not a terrible combat trick, honestly, to prevent 3 damage and then get 3 counters on it. I think that's actually pretty okay. It turns actually quite a lot of creatures into then a bit of a threat, really. 2, raise the alarms. Just gives you 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Yeah, raise the alarm is really good, and this is kind of where we start edging now into like the token part of the deck, because so we have 1 dozen eyes, which is one of these green entwine spells, and it makes either a single 5/5 beast, or it makes 5 insects. I think in this deck it wants to make the insects because you have a lot of spells that affect your whole board of creatures. One of the rares in the deck is Pulse of the Tangle. So this is 3 mana sorcery. You make a 3/3 green beast token, and then if an opponent controls more creatures than you, you get Pulse the Tangle back to your hand. But again, this is what I'm going to go on about these pulses again. So I think on its own, Pulse Tangle not terrible. You know, you make a 3/3 for 3, which is, I mean, kind of boring, but fine. And then if the opponent's got more creatures than you, you get to potentially do it again. But like you're playing a deck which is, you know, trying to swarm the board with lots of creatures, so the card has anti-synergy with what the deck is trying to do. I don't know. None of these pulses, I think, really land for me. I just think they're all kind of like a bit underwhelming as rares, honestly. And then we have a single Stir the Pride. So there's a white entwine spell, so 5 mana. Choose 1, creature control get +2/+2 turn, or until end of turn, creature control essentially get the Spirit Link ability, and you can entwine it for 2. So for 7, you could do both. This obviously makes like a load of attacking tokens or smaller creatures a lot more threatening. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Just that entwine cost. Yeah, you'd want to. I don't know. I think you just have moments where people hold on to the card, trying to hit the entwine cost, and like the game might be over by that point. But I think it's okay. At least I have the option to do either of those. And then we have a full playset of Echoing Courage. So this is a cycle of echoing cards. There's 1 in each color. Basically, what they do is you target something, and then it also affects everything with the same name. And of course, with tokens, all the tokens have the same name. So if you do this on 1 of your insect tokens, it affects all your insect tokens. And I think even without sharing the buff out, giving just +2/+2 for 2 is like, it's okay. It's not, it's obviously not great, but it's okay. It's not dreadful. Because it's still a buff at the end of the day at instant speed for only like 2 mana. But yeah, if you have like a bunch of insects and you drop this, you're getting quite a lot of value, I think, for 1 card. So the other rare in the deck is Matrix. So 5 mana artifact. It's indestructible. This Darksteel being the first set where indestructible is introduced as a keyword. All Mer get +1/+1, and 5 put a 1/1 Mer artifact creature token into play. So this is your other way of getting tokens out that all have the same name as each other. So that's okay. This is a pretty good rare, I think, to have. 2 Spawning Pits, 2 mana artifact, sacrifice a creature, put a charge counter on Spawning Pit. 1, remove 2 charge counters from Spawning Pit and put a 2/2 spawn artifact creature token into play. So another way of getting, again, creature tokens that have the same name as each other. So Echoing Courage then triggers that's fine. This is it's a free sacrifice outlet, actually, which is not terrible. If a creature's going to die, sacrifice it anyway to Spawning Pit. Fine. Single Thunderstaff, this goes really well, again, with like a big army of creatures, because you only spend 2 and tap it and give all your attacking creatures +1/+0 turn to turn. If you don't do that, you prevent 1 damage whenever you get attacked by a creature, which is, I think, pretty good. And then a single Wirefly Hive, so 3 mana artifact, 3 tap, flip a coin. If you win the flip, you create a 2/2 flying artifact creature called a Wirefly, and if you lose a flip, you destroy all Wireflies. It's interesting that it's destroy and not sacrifice. If you found a way to make Wireflies indestructible, it would be no downside. I don't know why you would jump through that many hoops just to keep wireflies around. But I mean, it's kind of janky, isn't it? Because it's this potential of like spending 3 mana and doing nothing. So yeah, pretty. I mean, like it's a kind of it's a wacky card, isn't it? But you'd be best taking it out. So that's all the cards. So what could have been? Really surprised Coppermer wasn't in here actually, because you got quite a fair number of green cards. So Coppermer would have helped power them out. Stand Together, I thought this would just be okay. It's just a buff spell that gives 2 creatures 2+1/+1 counters each. Yeah, yes. Razor Golem is the kind of the white aligned affinity golem. It has affinity for planes, and it has vigilance, and it's 3/4. So again, like not a terrible creature really. Fangren Firstborn. This probably would have been better than Pulse of the Tangle in my opinion. So 4 mana for a 4/2. Whenever it attacks you, put a +1/+1 counter on each attacking creature, which is pretty strong effect, I think. You then get into the thing of putting counters on tokens, which can be a bit of a nightmare, but if you wanted to. And Genesis Chamber, it makes 1/1 artifact creature tokens whenever a non-token creature comes into play. So yeah, it's fine. Basically, every creature you play gets accompanied by a little mer friend, and then you've got more mer for your Echoing Courage. So that option was there. This definitely should have been here instead of Wirefly Hive, I think. So in summary, yeah, I think it's just it's I said this in the Wicked Big deck review, but it's it's a deck in Mirrodin block that is not taking advantage of like what the block does well, which is artifacts. It has a very low number of artifacts and a way of utilizing artifacts. And like part of that is the card pool itself. But yeah, I mean like this could be from any block really, couldn't it? I mean like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like green white go wide. That's a classic green white archetype, but it's just I don't know, it just feels kind of boring. I mean it's nice there's like quite a few play sets in this deck, like the Goldmer, the Echoing Courage, that's all pretty good. But overall, it kind of just leaves me a bit, nah, it's fine. I think it would play okay, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement for it. But that's just what I think after looking at the deck. What did you think after looking at the deck? Did you have this deck? Did you play with it? Did you make any changes to it? Stick a comment below. I really like to hear from you. But that's me for now, and in the next video we'll look at the last Darksteel theme deck, which is quite a bit better. So I'll look forward to that. But until then, thank you for watching and listening, and have a good day.